Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight. So I'm delighted to be joined by a legend of the game for the first time, Bernard Hopkins. Bernard, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a huge fight tomorrow night. Is this the fight that changes boxing and we start seeing more fighters commit to these fights in the 20s, in the primes of their careers, so we can keep the sport alive?
Well, one thing is I became the biggest instigator in boxing. I started calling out fighters almost a year ago, as recent as 6 months ago, through every major and non-major social media. Because to be the biggest instigator in boxing, which I call myself now, is because you have to pour it out to the fans and the world, and you have to pull the covers or take the rock from under people that's hiding behind it through their managers, advisors, consultants, or whatever name that represents them. You have to at least let the fans know who they are from my perspective. They will respond. And once they respond, now it becomes a debate and pressure. This fight here, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, is the beginning of more fights to come. And I would say they don't necessarily have to be promoted by us, Golden Boy Promotion. But they will be promoted based on what? Based on the call, based on showing the fans and mentioning to the fans, as we do now, through social media, through interviews. I'm going to keep my knee on their neck as much as I can to call out fighters, whether they with us or not, that I want to see this fight in this division, from the heavyweights all the way down to the strawweights. If you think or you know you're the best in that weight division, then you tell whoever is your mouthpiece of negotiation that this is the fight you want. And if you try to do the blame game, which has always been an ancient customary of those fighter or managers, consultants or whatever, to hide behind the soap opera of who said this, who turned down a fight, who didn't want to do this, who didn't want to do this. Ryan Garcia said yes to everything that most people, including me, would have said hell no to at least two of them. That is a statement and also an act going forward that at least I am, and of course Oscar, my partner, agreed today to exploit those who's hiding behind you and other media outlets from across the world to act like they want something through the media and they really don't want to lose something.
In terms of Ryan Garcia, you mentioned there, he accepted, he's a B-side, he accepted the weight, the rehydration clause. I know Oscar brought it up to Leonard in the press conference. When you reference these companies, these people, these things that they're hiding behind, do you mean Leonard Ellerbe and the A-side in this fight?
I remember negotiations being there to hear Ellerbe is there to make sure Al Heyman business is taken care of. Other than that, he wouldn't be here. He has nothing to do with Tank because Tank has nothing to do with Mayweather. Let's get it clear and let's get the facts the way it's supposed to be. This ain't secret. Some people know, some people don't know. I'm in the no business. So the only reason Ellerbe is there is because of Al Heyman. Because Al Heyman won't show his face. When the last time you seen Al Heyman?
I've never seen Al Heyman.
Correct. He's a buffer. He's scripted to say what he says. The only thing he's not scripted to say or do is when he used the bathroom, whether it's defecation or urination. Ellerbe know that Ryan Garcia had a lot, if not 99.9%, making this fight happen. We instructed him, we, Golden Boy Promotion, Oscar De La Hoya, he's in the room asking, that we don't think this is a good idea. Oscar went on social media and said, if you didn't see it, trust me, look for it. He thought it was a mistake, correct?
Yep.
What are we talking about here? Ryan Garcia made this fight, not them. Ellerbe is here to make sure that Al Heyman interest is being respected and he gets his check. That's it. Tank Davis wanted this fight. That's why he broke away from Floyd Mayweather. Don't be surprised if Mayweather don't be here. Why you think he's not even part of the promotion to be able to talk about what he thinks?
Do you think Floyd Mayweather will turn up on fight night to support, obviously, someone who he did work with for many years in Gervonta Davis?
It doesn't matter. Whether he comes or not, it doesn't matter. I think it will send messages whether he come or not come, but I know he'd be watching.
Talk to me about yours and Oscar's longevity in the game. You both achieved so much in the ring, and then outside the ring.
3 years.
23 years, and then you became partners, and you've stood the test of time. When we see people come, go, you guys have been a permanent sort of figurehead in the sport with fighters, making fights. How have you managed?
What is our longevity?
What is your longevity, and what's the key to your staying power and being here, putting these events on? What's the key to that?
Well, the first question is, Oscar, I noticed, worked the strategy towards me very well. He lets me talk first, right?
Yeah.
And then he put the finishing touches on. The next thing, we're hugging and we're going away with a plan. We've done it today at our breakfast meeting today, and came straight here, to be honest with you. And again, please, if you can get him before he leaves here, that would be great. To back up what I just said, we came in this business 20-something years ago. He promoted me while I was still active to 52. And I said, Oscar, the only biggest test that we're going to have as a promoter now, even though I was still fighting, believe it or not, is we don't become those who we despise. As I look through you and look at you, I looked at him the same way. Matter of fact, I look at people when I talk to them the same way I look at you. The only test that we're going to have, which is not small, huge, is that we don't become those who we despise. We can mention names, but I don't have to. Because of what? Because of our Hall of Fame status, because of our respect, because of our credibility, because we're the first ever that became promoters from boxing. It's a unique situation that's going to catch on.
Yeah.
This fight, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis tomorrow, is a commercial for what you just asked me that's going to be spilled around how we, as the promoter team, two Hall of Famers who fought each other, who they said weren't going to last, the relationship, now in a position like we was before when we had Canelo. Ooh. So much riding on tomorrow.
Pressure?
Adversity. Pressure is always there. As long as the top don't blow off, you got to manage to keep it pressure. Pressure is good. It's who's dealing with it. How do they deal with it?
How do you think Ryan Garcia has dealt with the pressure, the moment, the magnitude of this event? How do you, when you look at that young man who's got the eyes of the world on him, everyone talks about his social media following, forget that for a minute, but this is pressure. How's he dealt with it?
I think he basked in it. I think it's a plus for him. I think that he know that he's still being looked at and he's still being a hero to a lot of people. And if you still got those followers, wouldn't that send a message that people still believe in you? And if you take half of those people that just want to see you get your brains beat out, they still being your fans by what? They buying it. Floyd Mayweather was a genius at it.
Brilliant.
You think that everybody came there and wanted to see him win? It's just that Ryan Garcia is not, he's not gluten with him. He's not, telling them that he's the richest man in the world, and I'm not knocking Floyd or anybody else, but he has a different, quote unquote, to me, arrogancy that someone might look at as being arrogant. that here's a guy with a small, pretty face, a guy that's just beating people. You know, he don't have a scratch. We want to see him look like a fighter, whatever the fighter's supposed to look like. Ryan Garcia has some fans that envy, jealous, and wish they was him. And there's a lot of fighters that think that. I mean, when I was coming up, I hated Oscar. And it was more not because of his accomplishments. The fuck, I never seen him get his nose smashed in.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell him that in his face, and he will understand that, and that's how I felt.
It's changed now, though, hasn't it? You two have got that bond and that working relationship where you sort of quest to make sure that boxing carries on and then we make the big fights, and you work together in tandem doing that.
Yes, because it was important. Our credibility was on the line. Let's keep it, 100. It was on the line. The credibility of making this fight. But it couldn't get made unless Ryan wanted to happen. We did the what? We steered the car, but he was the engine.
Finally, so you give us a lot of your time and appreciate it. Can you tell us what happens tomorrow night? T-Mobile Arena, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. How does this fight end?
T-Mobile Arena, pay-per-view, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. Hard-earned, but respectful performance by both guys. But Ryan finds something that Tank wasn't aware of, when that means his heart, different things that he worked on that he didn't see Ryan having. The surprise of Tank Davis will make him fall back in some rounds, and Ryan will win by unanimous, no dispute, no controversy, decision. A hard, but a definitely well-earned victory. 12 rounds, exciting rounds, tug of war. Ryan wins by unanimous decision.
Bernard Hopkins, thanks for talking to Boxing Social. It's a huge fight on Saturday night. We can't wait. We appreciate you having us on our channel, and we'll hopefully catch up after the fight.
Thank you.